All right, today we're going to dive into a short but, man, what a powerful story. It's called A Handful of Dates by the Sudanese author Tayeb Salih. It's all about childhood, about putting someone on a pedestal, and that gut punch moment when you find out your hero isn't who you thought they were. So the whole story is told through the eyes of a little boy, and it all starts right here with this quote. This is his whole world in a nutshell. It's so simple, right? Faith, nature, and family. And at the absolute center of that universe is his grandfather. It's a perfect, idyllic world, and it's about to come crashing down. And that really brings us to the heart of it all, this relationship between the boy and his hero. Because in this kid's eyes, his grandfather isn't just a man. No way. He's a giant. To our narrator, his grandfather was basically perfect, strong, wise, almost godlike. The boy was absolutely convinced he was his grandfather's favorite, and his one and only goal in life was to grow up and be exactly like him. This perfect image he's built up, it is everything to this story. But, as we know, every perfect picture has something kind of messy just out of frame. In this story, that something is a man named Masood, and he is the key to the whole conflict that's about to unfold. And it all kicks off with such a simple, innocent question. The boy just notices his grandfather doesn't seem to like their neighbor, Masood, so he asks him why. And the answer to that one little question is what starts to pull the thread that unravels his entire world. So here's the power dynamic, and it is stark. On one side, you've got the grandfather. He's powerful, he's respected, and he's been systematically buying up all the land around him. And then you have Masood, a guy who's so deep in debt he's lost almost everything he owns. Now, the grandfather spins this story that Masood is just lazy and irresponsible. But the truth? Well, the truth is a whole lot sadder. All this simmering tension finally comes to a boil during the most important time of the year, the date harvest, which should be this amazing time of celebration, of abundance, instead becomes the setting for a really dark reckoning. And you can just watch the cold reality of it all unfold, step by step. First, the harvest begins, and our narrator, the little boy, is so excited to be a part of it. Second, the crop gets divided up, but then comes step 3, the gut punch. The debt is called in. The grandfather takes his share, and then he takes most of Masood's share too, which leads to the brutal final step. Masood, the guy who actually owns the trees, is left with literally nothing. And here is the absolute key to everything. The boy is right there. He sees it all happen. He doesn't hear about it later. He watches the humiliation on Masood's face. He sees his personal hero, his grandfather, act less like a giant and more like a cruel bully. And in that one instant, the whole perfect image he had just shatters. Now, a realization like that isn't just some idea in your head, it's physical. It's a gut-wrenching feeling, which brings us to, well, a very literal taste of the truth. He's just so overwhelmed by what he saw, he runs down to the riverbank. In that handful of dates his grandfather gave him, which was such a sweet treat just a little while ago, now it feels like poison in his stomach. His body just physically rejects it. He forces himself to be sick, because he just cannot stomach the fruit of this injustice. This act is so deeply symbolic. It's way more than a boy just being sick. It's his entire being, his mind, his body, his soul, rejecting the greed and the corruption that his grandfather now represents. He is literally purging himself of the tainted wealth he just saw get ripped away from another man. And with that one act, something essential is just broken. That pure, simple, adoring love he had for his grandfather is gone. It's been replaced by this painful, complicated new awareness. The hero he worshipped is gone for good. So this short, heartbreaking story is about a lot more than just one boy and his grandfather. It's really a powerful look at some much bigger, universal lessons. I mean, this story is working on so many levels. You really feel that sharp, awful pain of disillusionment, of your hero falling from grace. It's a crystal clear critique of greed and how power can absolutely corrupt a person. That whole harvest scene is just a brutal lesson in the exploitation of the vulnerable. And underneath it all, you have this tension between older traditional values and this, more ruthless, modern business sense the grandfather has adopted. When you boil it all down, this is a classic coming-of-age story.
But it's not about a first love or some grand adventure. Nope, it's about a much more common and way more painful part of growing up. That exact moment you realize the world and the people in it are flawed, they're complicated, and yeah, often they're deeply disappointing. It's the loss of innocence, pure and simple. And all of this leaves us with one big, lingering question. The grandfather got the land, he collected his debt, by every measure, he won. But in doing so, he lost the adoration of his grandson, the one person in the world who saw him as a hero. So it really forces you to ask, when is a win not a victory at all?